Marc, give us your assessment. What is the Greek situation really like right now?
Well, my sense is that they will come to some kind of an agreement in the last minute. But I don't think that's any positive because Greece is basically bankrupt. The debt should be written down by 50% or more. However, I have this to say. I don't believe that stocks are going down because of Greece. I believe that the market has been weakening internally for a long time. On Friday, there were almost 200 new 12-month lows on the New York Stock Exchange. The Chinese stock market, the Shanghai index, is now down 20% from the high. So Greece is a side play, but it's used by people as an excuse to sell stocks.
Marc, should people in Europe feel confident that what's happening in Greece stays in Greece, or do you think we could see contagion spread and similar concerns re-arise in Spain and Italy?
Well, I think a lot of Europeans don't like the EU, and the bureaucrats in Brussels, they hate them because the bureaucrats in Brussels are like the IMF and the World Bank, basically a corrupt organization that do not pay taxes but then impose taxes on other people and so forth. And I strongly believe that the typical European would prefer not to have or be member of the EU.
Marc, I want to get your perspective on who and by what, I mean, what kind of investor is going to profit the most off this weakness that we're seeing this morning, brought on by the Greek debt crisis, brought on by the negative headlines on Puerto Rico, brought on by the sell-off in China. What kind of investor?
I will tell you precisely. The investors who are in cash, they benefit the most, because asset prices have gone down substantially in the last couple of weeks. In the case of China, within 2 weeks, the market is down 20%. The bond market has given up all the gains since the beginning of the year, and their losses in bonds. So people who are in cash, they're not totally wrong. And the big losers are people who just bought on the advice of some media into stocks a month ago. They are the big losers, because many stocks, Micron is down 46% from its high earlier this year. There are many stocks that have lost a lot of money.
Marc, besides cash, is there anything else that you like right now?
Yes, I like my Bloomberg terminal.
We like that too.
That's the perfect answer.
No, I still like precious metals. They may still come under some pressure, who knows. But in general, the world is indebted, and the debt burden is so high that there won't be any substantial economic growth. Now, Japan, with Abenomics, they just reported for May that industrial production was down 2%. So money printing doesn't solve all the problems.
Money printing doesn't solve all the problems, yet China is trying to do what it can to bolster its economy. We heard about the interest rate cut, the surprise cut over the weekend. What is your interpretation of that move? Was it aimed at keeping the rally going? Was it aimed at addressing a liquidity shortage?
My sense is that the Chinese economy has weakened very substantially. The stock market went up from a year ago by more than 100%. I have maintained that the market would correct at least 40%. I think we're down 20%. I think another 20% is likely. But longer term, as you know, the U.S. since 1800 to today had so many recessions and the Civil War and world wars and so forth, and was still growing. I'm still reasonably optimistic that the Chinese economy, after a slump, will come out okay. But they need a lesson in terms of borrowing less, in terms of reducing debts and leverage, as do all the other countries do. But you understand, following the 2008 crisis, the central banks allowed governments to borrow even more because of their artificial low interest rates. So basically, global debt as a percent of global GDP is up 30% from the 2007 level.
Right. Well,
it's not going to end well, that's for sure. Whether Greece is the catalyst, who knows? But definitely, the markets are reacting on the downside, and largely because corporate earnings will disappoint. First of all, wages are going up. They will squeeze corporate profits. Number two, interest rates won't go much lower. So as they don't go any lower, it also squeezes corporate profits. And number three, the most important economy for emerging markets was China. And China is now growing at maximum 3 to 4% per annum.
3 to 4% per annum, according to Marc Faber. So given all of that, Marc, do we presume that the Federal Reserve is unable to move ahead with its September timetable for an interest rate increase?
In my view, the Fed, under the dovish Mrs. Yellen, will not increase interest rates for a very long time. And if they do, it will be by 1/8 or 1/4%, just to see what the market reaction is. But I personally doubt she will do it this year. They'll find an excuse not to do it.
But should they? I mean, what are the unintended consequences of keeping rates where they are? If the U.S. economy is doing well, shouldn't we focus on that? Or shouldn't she? Excuse me.
Do you really think that the U.S. economy is doing well? That's not my impression. I think the typical household is squeezed very badly. I was recently in a limousine, and then we talked about this and that, and the limousine driver told me his health care premium, the insurance premium, this year will go up 39%. So I believe that actually most households are struggling, but they're borrowing money again. Most households in the U.S. have no savings. I believe that the U.S. economy will badly disappoint within 6 months.
Marc, do you just carry an umbrella all day, every day? It just always rains in Marc's town. Marc, thank you so much for joining us this morning. The one and only Marc Faber. He's the editor of The Gloom.
We have a shortage of rain. We have a drought.
Well, Marc, I love when you join us. He's Marc Faber. He's executive editor of Gloom, Boom, and Doom Report.